was supposed to be a day draped in rose gold perfection. Everything was curated to the detail, from the silk fearless that clung just right to the wind that blew only when it should. She stood in the middle of a glowing ballroom, music humming softly under the chandeliers, glass in hand, poised like a poem written for the spotlight. The cameras were ready, the crowd already enchanted. Every strand of hair had been curled into compliance, every move rehearsed with the precision of a ballerina, trained in both grace and denial. The heels clicked in rhythm to her heartbeat, steady, composed. And then the unthinkable happened. A shift, a cramp, a betrayal from within. Not the kind that leaves you with heartbreak, but the kind that humbles you instantly, viscerally. It was swift, sudden, and so unmistakably human. Time slowed. Her eyes darted, unsure if anyone else had caught it. The moment that shattered the illusion. All the glitter in the world couldn't cover what had just transpired. But then something shifted again. A chuckle, soft, disbelieving, escaped her own lips. Because somewhere in that chaos, in that grotesque hilarity, the story got better, the myth cracked. The girl became real. Something strangely poetic about losing control in the most inconvenient of moments. It's not just about the incident itself, the physical, literal nature of it, but what it represents. A slip, crack in the marble, a reminder that no amount of choreography can save you from being a body first and a legend second. Shame wraps around you like a tight corset, invisible to everyone but suffocating all the same. But when the blush fades and the heartbeat slows, what's left is a realization so raw it feels almost holy. You are not untouchable. The mess, the odor, the stain, it becomes more than an accident. Becomes a metaphor for every time you tried too hard to be perfect and forgot to breathe. For every smile that hurt your cheeks. For every interview answer you rehearsed. For every dress you wore that didn't let you eat lunch. This kind of shame, so primal, turns into something sacred when you stop resisting it. You start to see that vulnerability is not the opposite of power. It's just another shade of it. You didn't fall from grace. You tripped into humanity. And now, fearless, you know what that really feels like. The scene was painted like a dream. Candlelight flickering on polished floors. Strings playing softly in the distance, a gown flowing like melted moonlight across her frame. Her makeup was untouched by time or sweat, eyes lined like brushstrokes on canvas. Every movement was a symphony, deliberate whisper of class and control. She floated through the room like she owned gravity itself, head high, chin dipped just so, like she'd practiced in mirrors fogged with ambition. But beneath the lace and velvet, beneath the practiced smile and perfumed air, a storm brewed with no interest in pageantry. That sudden twist to the stomach, the betrayal of biology, the heat that creeps up your neck, not from desire, but from dread. It shattered the illusion in a single heartbeat. The juxtaposition was almost cinematic, pearls around her neck clashing with the chaos unraveling within. Porcelain statue cracking from the inside out. And no one teaches you how to recover from that. There's no manual for grace when your own body rebels mid-performance. The clash of elegance and disaster didn't just expose her, reframed her. Suddenly, She wasn't a goddess gliding across a stage. She was someone fighting to keep her mask from slipping completely. At first, she wanted to disappear, not in a dramatic storybook way, but in the quiet, frantic way people do when they've lost control of the narrative. The moment was too ridiculous to be tragic, too bodily to be poetic, too funny to ignore. But then something inside her shifted, like the snap, fearless, like the snap of a string pulled too tight for too long. She laughed. Not the delicate kind. She was known for the polite little exhale behind manicured fingers. This one was real, guttural, a release of tension built from years of walking tightropes in heels, which was called fearless. There's a strange strength in being able to laugh at yourself when the world expects you to crumble. It's defiance in its purest form, a rebellion wrapped in comedy. Suddenly, the disaster became the punchline of her own story. She was the one delivering it. Not a victim of circumstance, but the author of a new chapter, raw and ridiculous and deeply relatable. With every retelling, the moment lost its power to shame her. It became armor. It became proof that even in a world built on filters and finesse, she could survive the worst day imaginable and make it sing like a chorus no one saw coming. It starts like any quiet myth passed down in whispers. A girl in a glittering dress, night meant to shine, and a secret the stars tried to keep. It's the kind of story that doesn't begin with a bang, but with a tightening in the gut, a shift in the air, fearless, the smallest betrayal blooming into something unforgettable. Picture her walking through the crowd, all charm and poise, the hem of her gown brushing marble floors like a sigh. The lights adored her. The room bent around her. But stories, especially the real ones, always carry a twist. There was no villain here, no poisoned apple or lurking shadow. Just a moment, a gasp, a truth too human to be scripted. And like all good folklore, the magic wasn't in the fall. It was in how she stood up again. This tale wasn't written in gold leaf or etched on ancient stone. It was lived in the silence that followed, the smile that came too soon in the eyes that dared to meet their reflection after everything. Fearless, there's something timeless about a story where the heroine doesn't slay a dragon, but instead learns to laugh with one foot in disaster and the other still dancing. And so the story lingers, not as a cautionary tale or a punchline, but as a strange kind of anthem. Was called Fearless. A night meant for perfection became a celebration of the imperfect, the unscripted, the undeniably human. What began as embarrassment twisted itself into liberation, like a song that changes key just when you think you know the chorus. She didn't vanish beneath the weight of the moment. She rose inside it, fearless, wearing the mess like a crown no one else dared to touch. In the end, it wasn't the flawless image people remembered, the crack where the light poured in, the stumble that made her real, the laughter that rewrote the room. Some stories shimmer because they're untouchable, but the ones that stay, the ones that echo, are the ones that aren't afraid to get a little dirty,